Hey friends! Today I wanted to talk about why light and dark are actually essential medicines in your healing journey. There's a common experience that comes with chronic illness, and it's that you feel completely disconnected from the rhythms of life. Maybe you feel wired and restless at night, but then you're bone tired in the morning. Or maybe your energy crashes randomly throughout the day and your hormones feel completely dysregulated throughout the course of the month. This isn't random, it's circadian rhythm dysfunction. So if you're navigating something like mast cell activation syndrome or chronic fatigue, even things like autoimmunity and hormone imbalances, your circadian rhythm is a basic part of your healing journey. So today we're diving into why circadian rhythm is your body's blueprint for healing and why getting your light exposure right might even be more important than what diet you eat, or what supplements you take, or even what kind of toxic burden that your body has. So what do I mean when I say circadian rhythm? Circadian rhythm is your body's 24-hour internal clock. Every cell in your body is synced to this rhythm. So the cells in your liver, your brain, your bacteria in your gut, your hormones, sex hormones and adrenal hormones, and even your immune function. That means every system in your body is tied to when you experience light and dark throughout your day and night. And when I say light, I do mean natural light. So I mean sunlight and I mean true darkness. Exposure to natural light from the sun and darkness from lack of sun at the appropriate times tells your body when to produce melatonin, when to raise and when to lower cortisol, when to release digestive enzymes, when to engage in tissue repair processes, and when to detoxify when our liver detox pathways are the most active. So this is not a wellness trend. It's actually one of the most foundational parts of our biology, and our modern life is really good at disrupting this. So if you're living with chronic illness, your nervous system tends to be already in a state of chronic confusion and dysregulation. It's perceiving threats everywhere. It's having reactions to even really mundane things. And one of the most powerful ways to reset that internal danger alarm system and to signal safety to the nervous system is by resyncing your life with the rhythms of nature. Think about it. Your body evolved to expect certain signals: a low angle of light in the morning, to be eating during the day when the sun is up, to have exposure to total darkness at night. And when those cues are missing or they're flipped, your healing processes are going to go into chaos and you're going to feel really stuck in your chronic illness symptoms. So between the hours of roughly about 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., your body shifts into a really powerful self-repair mode. This is when your glymphatic system, that's the detox system in your brain, clears out cellular waste. It pushes out damaged proteins and neurotoxins that may have accumulated through the day. But this system only activates when you're really deeply asleep, and only if you're really deeply asleep at those correct hours. If you're staying up late on screens or under bright artificial light, you are suppressing melatonin. This is the hormone that tells your body it's time to be in a deeply restful state and to repair. Without that time to repair, you're going to feel brain fog, anxiety, inflamed during the day, and more fatigued. So sleep is not this passive process. It's a window in which your body can do profound healing. And when we're consistently missing that window, again, we can get really stuck in chronic symptoms. We don't want to only talk about toxins, we also need to talk about neuroplasticity, because neuroplasticity happens at night. So if you're doing any kind of nervous system healing work, if you're doing brain retraining, if you're processing trauma, if you're engaging in EFT tapping to process through emotions, your circadian alignment is just as critical. This is because neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself and learn safety, happens during the deep sleep state. Have you noticed that you often have dreams about things that you're emotionally processing or working through, or things that have been bothering you lately? So when sleep is disrupted or it's misaligned with your circadian rhythm, you literally can't integrate all the emotional healing work that you're doing. And so this is why so many people are hitting plateaus in their healing process. They're doing all the right things, but your biology is still stuck in emergency mode, and it's out of alignment with your natural life rhythms. And your brain is just not going to rewire when you're under threat. Now, a lot of people associate sunlight exposure with vitamin D. It's important to remember that vitamin D is a hormone. It's not just a nutrient. And it's something that your body makes when you are exposed to sunlight on your skin. So yes, you can supplement vitamin D, and that can be helpful, especially if you're living in an environment where vitamin D is just not available during the winter, but it's honestly not a perfect substitute. Vitamin D is made through sunlight when it interacts with cholesterol on your skin, and then it's delivered to your body in a biologically active form. It's an incredibly important substance. It's involved in over 1,000 different gene expressions. And so it actually regulates your whole immune system, how your body manages inflammation, how your mood is balanced, and what kind of function that your nervous system has. Vitamin D deficiency has been strongly correlated with mast cell activation syndrome. It's also been connected to autoimmunity, depression, and chronic fatigue. So again, oral supplements can be helpful in the short term, but your body really needs that daily relationship with light as much as possible. So even if there are times of year where you can't get vitamin D because of how far north or south that you live, you can build up vitamin D stores during the summer and then use those through the winter. So when you can, take advantage of it. Here's one more wild fact I want to share with you. Sunlight helps us grow our good gut bacteria. And honestly, I see this one barely talked about in the health world, but there's a lot of research about this. Natural sunlight exposure can directly boost your gut microbiome health. Sunlight exposure on our skin increases the diversity and abundance of beneficial bacteria in the gut. Specifically, species like Akkermansia, which people are talking about a lot these days because it's so important in the regulation of leaky gut and gut permeability, are definitely triggered with consistent light exposure. So you're going to grow more Akkermansia the more your skin is exposed to light. So how many people, when having digestive issues or an autoimmune diagnosis, decide, oh, I should probably go sun my belly more? Not many people, but you may have gotten all sorts of nutritional and herbal protocols for your SIBO or your leaky gut or your histamine intolerance. But if you're not getting that consistent natural light on your belly, you might be missing a key piece. Again, if you live in a place where it's very cold during the winter and you can't just go outside in your bikini top, then you can get substitutes. There are high quality red light therapy devices that you can use that don't perfectly mimic the red light from the sun, but it's better than nothing. So that's a device you can use, but always prioritize the natural light exposure when you can. Lastly, I want you to remember that all your neurotransmitters and hormones run on signals from light. So this includes your adrenal, thyroid, and sex hormones. They all respond to these circadian light-based signals. So here's a basic pattern that your body's going to expect. During sunrise, that low angle of light is going to cause cortisol to rise naturally. It's going to wake you up and energize you. Mid-morning, with the light that's a little bit stronger from the sun, your testosterone and your estrogen are going to start rising, and this is going to support your productivity and your brain function. In the afternoon, as you've gotten even more light, your serotonin is going to peak, and this is going to keep your mood stable all through the afternoon and evening. And then when we get that low angle of light again with the sunset, cortisol is going to drop, and your melatonin is going to begin to rise the more you're exposed to darkness. And this is going to signal your body that it's time to wind down, rest, and what else? Detoxify. So again, if you're staying up late under artificial light, or you're missing that early morning sun, you're going to scramble this cycle. And so you're going to have worse sleep, you're going to have more likelihood of hormonal imbalance, you're going to get more anxiety, more depression, and less beneficial microbiome activity, so worse immune function. I would argue that artificial light is a modern toxin. Just like processed food or pesticides, blue light and fluorescent lighting are these novel stressors to the human body we've never had before. The LED screens and the overhead lighting in offices and grocery stores are disrupting our circadian rhythm. They're overstimulating us. They're suppressing our melatonin production, especially when we're exposed to them later in the evening and night. And, I think a lot of you have probably noticed this. A lot of people I talk to feel wired or anxious or headachy when they're in big department stores or in office buildings for too long. And that's not in your head. Your body is getting pushed into a stress state by all this extra bright, unnatural lighting. But there are really simple and powerful ways to reclaim this rhythm. I don't want you to think you've got to quit your job or move into the forest to realign with your circadian rhythm. If you make small, consistent changes through your days, it can still make a really big difference. So in the morning, try to get outside within 30 minutes of waking up. And don't wear glasses, don't try to get the sun through a glass window, really actually get outside to get that light. Even 5 to 10 minutes of this will help. Obviously, if you can do more, that's great, but even if you have 5 to 10 minutes, it's worth it. If you can eat breakfast outside under natural light, or at least with a window open, it's going to help your body anchor into the perfect rhythm of insulin and cortisol. Now, during the day, if you're inside a lot, try to take short outdoor breaks as much as possible. Walk around the block, try to have lunch outside, and if you're inside on a screen all day or under that bright fluorescent lighting, try to use some blue light blocking glasses just to buffer that a little bit. If you can use softer, more indirect lighting, definitely opt for that. Look for incandescent bulbs or incandescent mimicking bulbs and smaller lamps as opposed to bright overhead lights. Now, it is important during the brightest part of the day to get out, sun your belly, get that vitamin D exposure, but then in the evening, we want to really dim the lights. I really like using lights that have red or amber tints to them because these mimic firelight more and they're not going to disrupt our melatonin production as much. It's so important to stop your screen use at least an hour before bed, and there's so much you can do with that hour. Read a book under dimmer lights, do your stretching, do some foam rolling, do some journaling, listen to a really good music album, take a bath. There's so much you can do for yourself that's not looking at a screen. And then when you go to bed, try to sleep in a pitch black room. Use a sleep mask or get blackout curtains if you need them, and try to keep that bedtime consistent. Aim to be asleep by 10 p.m. at the latest. Remember that your circadian rhythm is your body's ancient healing code. It's going to regulate your brain function, your hormones, your gut microbiome, your immune health. And we live in this world that is just full of artificial life and chaotic schedules and this disconnected way of living that is not grounded in our natural rhythms at all. And so it's no wonder so many of us are sick. But I think it's really empowering to know that this is one of the easiest, most accessible interventions that you can start for yourself today.